All right, Nick. A little bit of a different situation tonight. Tonight, as in today. Reds down 7-4. There's a decent amount of stuff to talk about, Nick, but it's 9-inning game for a reason.
Raisel Iglesias. Raisel Iglesias. And as always, just a reminder that if this is your first time checking out Chatterbox Reds and you're watching long after this game has ended, as we know many, many people do, you can click directly underneath in the show notes and there will be a timestamp that says full game recap. Just click that and you can hear us discuss the game in detail in a more traditional podcast form. But for those of you that are here right now, like the freaking stream, folks.
That's right. They need them.
We need likes for dubs.
We understand where we're at. Everybody's seen the roulette wheel, okay? You've walked in, you've seen the roulette wheel. It's spun black like 15 times in a row. And everyone's standing around the table waiting for it to hit red. Well, I get it. But you got to get 27 outs in baseball, damn it. All right, chat? You got to get 27 outs. And they haven't got 27 outs yet.
I've seen Raisel Iglesias blow a save or two in my life.
Me too. I mean, he just threw a strike, which isn't optimistically great, but I was hoping he was going to walk the world. And he's thrown 2 strikes.
He's a really good pitcher right now. Ooh.
Okay, well. They've gotten 25.
Also got the Chattanooga Lookouts on the laptop watching the boys. They're playing the Shuckers. And
Marte's back, right?
He's back. He's back. I think I didn't see his first at bat. We were going live. But the funny thing is their like camera is all weird. It looks like a cartoon character. Like, you know, like that, like the filter you can do that like makes you look like you're a cartoon. Like, that's what their main camera makes the people look like. Oh.
That ball's hit.
Oh.
All right. Let's go.
Oh.
That's
Jake
right. I'll tell you right now, that's not going to help the people that we're talking about, maybe pinch hitting him earlier in the game. That's just adding fuel to their fire.
Yeah.
It's adding fuel to the fire, brother.
He still got an at bat though as the tying run. David Bell was concerned about trying to avoid him facing Mentor. That was what his entire game plan was, because he did not think that he could face Mentor, and he didn't face Mentor. He put him in the lineup. They used Mentor, and it was in a spot where they knew his like second at bat would only pretty much come against the closer. Right. All right, bloop and a blast, or a walk and a blast.
That's right. Hit by pitch and a blast. Come on, Will. Find a way to get
Will.
on base.
All right.
Ball. Here we go.
All right.
Come on.
I don't even know how I'd function if they pulled this one off.
Yeah, me neither. In fact, I might die.
There we go, Will.
Okay. Ball. You got to take here. I don't know. Maybe not. 2-0 is not really a take. He's been throwing strikes too, so no. You got to be ready to hit. Good pitch.
Matty Ice.
I would have loved to gotten Will. I mean, it's hard to say he should have played yesterday because they scored 11 runs, but it's just like it's hard to find ways. Did he hit that? Did he get that?
Oh, my
Nick?
God!
Did he get it?
Wow!
He got it.
Let's go!
He got it.
Holy crap!
He got it. He got it. Will Benson basically saying, "You better put me in the damn game, bro." I mean, I'm here. Put me in the lineup. Put me in the lineup. As soon as the lefty comes out of the game, I'm in the game. Likes, guys. Likes. Fast.
Yeah. My family just left the house too, so like I can be fully unleashed.
Likes. We need them.
This team, man.
It's unbelievable, dude.
It's just
it makes
never
no sense.
Freaking quit.
Come on. Ball's flying out to right big time, Matty. Ooh. Bloop and a blast. I'm still in that camp. Walk in a blast. That's a hell of a pitch, man. Damn.
Well, shucks, the Pirates just got walked off. Hate to see it.
Oh, man. That's just a good pitch sequence. Ball smoked. All right, Jonathan India. Now's the time, Mr. Captain, the leader. Now's the time.
Not looking at you, chat. Not looking at you.
Yeah, I can't look at you, chat. You guys are ahead of me.
Captain America.
Now's the time, Captain. Make Kirk Herbstreit proud, brother.
I think he's there. I thought I saw on Twitter that he's there.
I seen him. He's sitting in the dugout, the diamond seats.
It's like Glaze's just the light bulb turned on.
Yeah, he's like, here, I'm about tired of this.
Good take. Good take.
It's a good take. It was a good take.
No, that was even better.
Just let Ellie come up right here, and I'll tell you what, the fucking city will crumble. It will absolutely crash and burn if he does something like that. All right.
Fighting.
Battling. What is this, a voodoo spell? Okay. All right, chat. Listen, chat. We're still in this. Nick, it's not how we want it to end, but let's do a show. Let's do a show. Nick, we knew this day was coming, Nick. You can't win every baseball game till the end of the year. So I just want to take a quick second and thank the Cincinnati Reds and their roster and their staff for giving me one of the best rides I've had in my sporting life. I know it's not the ultimate goal. I get that it's June. I understand why people maybe would think that it's a little bit of an oversell. But the fact of the matter is they've got this fan base revived. There's still a series to win tomorrow. I think that there are things in which there's no doubt about it that we could have done better today. But you know what? That's not how it always goes, Nick. The Reds lose 7-6 to the Atlanta Braves, who are very, very good. Your impressions, and then a box score recap.
Yeah, hell of a run from the Reds. Now it's going to just kind of be to the grind, I guess. You know, the streak's over. Now it's going to be just hoping to build off this, to avoid losing streaks. I mean, really, realistically, at this point, the Reds play 500 the rest of the season. They're going to have a chance to make the playoffs. So it's going to be about that at this point. But what a run that we're never going to forget, no matter how the season turns out. More than we ever could have dreamed for this season already. And I feel like at this point, Trace, we're playing with house money the rest of the way.
We are playing with house money, Nick. It feels that way right now, but it's also, you know, to a certain extent, I see both sides of this in a little bit of a way, right? One side of it is listen, you got to remember where you came from. You got to know what your expectations were 2 weeks ago when it comes to this franchise and what opportunities there are and where guys are going to go and how much playing time certain guys need to get. And then the opposite side is going to say, listen, we're right in the middle of this. We're leading the NL Central. There's no reason to lay down and just be like, oh, well, you know, we just need to get guys at bats or whatever it may be. And there's some roster decisions that need to be made. There's some trades that are going to happen. I believe in Nick Krall. Nick Krall has not showed me one thing that makes me think that he's not capable of figuring this out. But before we get to all that, we always do a box score recap. Let's do that. And then I think we have some interesting things to talk about today. I really do.
All right, well, another sold-out Great American Ballpark on Saturday saw Graham Ashcraft make his first start in 16 days. Ashcraft got hit hard, though. He allowed 10 hits, 6 earned runs over 4 innings pitched. Reds fought back, as they always do. Matt McClain and Spencer Steer each had 2-run home runs, and the Reds cut the deficit all the way down to 6-4 in the fourth. Fernando Cruz, he was spectacular over 2 scoreless innings. Really gave the Reds a chance in this one. Alex Young did give up a GABP special home run to Marcell Ozuna, but that was it from the Reds bullpen. Another great day from the Reds bullpen overall. The Reds offense, they were held quiet until the ninth when they tried to pull yet another crazy comeback off. Jake Fraley and Will Benson each hit solo home runs off of former Red and now Braves closer Raisel Iglesias, but unfortunately just not enough. Reds fall 7-6 to the Braves.
I knew you were going to update that. I knew you were going to do that. I just knew that you were going to do that. That's how you know that Nick Kirby's just a gamer. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not even what's the right word to use here? Disappointed, not the right word to use. Mad, not the right word to use. I guess I'm indifferent about this game. I just don't really have a strong opinion one way or the other. The starting pitching has got to get better. We know that. I don't really know what the answer is, though. I don't think there is a simple solution outside of the fact of the matter is the guys that we have now have to get better. You can not like Luke Weaver all you want. He's got to just throw the ball better. That's somewhat of the solution. Graham Ashcraft's just got to throw the ball a little bit better. And to be honest, the Braves are just really, really good. If we're going to get down to it, you take that lineup that the Braves have and you stick it inside of Great American Ballpark on a day like today, and I don't want to be too critical of Graham. I really don't. I think that obviously he missed his spots to a small extent. Hopefully my house isn't burning down. I don't know, you probably can't hear it, but there's a fire alarms or whatever the hell, that smoke detector's going off upstairs. But anyways, I don't know. I guess I'm not that upset. I'm more upset, if anything, and we'll get into this later. I'm not even going to try to bring this up at the shop. I really am upset that I think that a little bit of the roster management showed its ugly head a little bit today. I know I'm not going to kill everybody. I'm going to be fair about it, but I think that it did. If we're being completely honest. But Graham Ashcraft, I thought he looked fine. I'm not really that worried about him all that much yet. I think he's earned another opportunity to see what he's got against a team that hopefully isn't the Dodgers and or the Braves.
Yeah, I mean, next start's probably going to come against the Padres. So not going to have any easy go about it. I think you could definitely, kind of like with Luke Weaver, you can shake both of these starts off as they're facing the Braves, the best lineup in baseball. But unfortunately, their entire seasons and body of work hasn't been very good. So it's just kind of compounding on that. The thing I don't really understand what the Reds did with Graham Ashcraft is why they didn't send him down on a rehab assignment.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they know him. Obviously they know him better than we do. Maybe they think there's something to keeping him up here and doing side sessions with the big league coaching staff. Maybe they think that's more valuable to him. Time will tell. We shouldn't make too big of a deal about this start in particular, but he's got to pitch better than he's pitched over the last month, 2 months, however long it's been. It's been a pretty brutal stretch of baseball watching him.
Yeah, he struggled. He struggled bad, and it's almost like that between Weaver and Ashcraft, neither one of them have caught many breaks either. If we're being completely franked, there's not been really too many outings lately where the ball's been getting hit really, really hard right at somebody. And in fact, Ashcraft had a couple balls that weren't hit very hard at all, and you could blame it on maybe just unluckiness or a little bit of defense, whatever it may be that you could say. I thought there was a couple times where he got unlucky. One specific unluckiness is he threw a perfect pitch to I think it was Olsen, but anyways, it got fouled off right in front of the plate. A millimeter more of the bat right there, and the ball it goes out a foot in front of the plate. You get out of the inning instead. Home run, a pitch later, but that's part of it. That's pitching. You can't have it both ways. We know if you watch this team long enough, we know there's a gigantic hole in starting pitching, and I don't know if there's an easy solution. That's the scary part. Two rookies got off to a good start. Let's stick to the rundown a little bit here before we get too far off track. I think McLean and Steer both showed again why we're so excited about this team. Ellie is Ellie. That's great, but we do have some other guys that are really, really special on this team that are rookies. I thought Steer played left field well today, and again, I think that it's this take that I have about our outfielders is becoming that I'm bashing the guys that are out there, and it's not. I'm not trying to crush Spencer Steer by any means. He's just played 6 games out there in his professional career. He's using Nick Senzel's glove. He's trying to break in his own glove. I mean, that's I'm not trying to kill him. I'm just saying let's be honest with ourselves and say that we're probably lacking pretty largely in a defensive area in the outfield, especially when you have Senzel and Steer in the corners. But they're great players, and McLean's a great player. So, and I think he's the best second baseman that we have by far. I don't want to get into that topic today, though. I really don't.
I thought it was a really good day from Matt McLean. Obviously, I feel like he'd been struggling a little bit. In June, I mean, struggling for Matt McLean in June, his OPS was a 753. So that's still pretty darn good for a rookie.
Right.
Coming into the year, I would have gladly taken that, but it was not anywhere near like his 968 that he had in the first month. So good to see him. And then Spencer Steer, he just missed another one too later in the game, another home run. He's just this underrated player that's hitting now in the bottom of the order, that's playing 3 different positions as a rookie, and it hasn't, a lot of times when you're playing all these multiple positions, especially trying to learn position, a lot of times you feel like it affects these guys at the plate. Hasn't impacted him at all. And he's as valuable as anyone to this team so far this year.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't tell you how impressed I am with Steer. More importantly, Steer than anyone else, just largely because he has had to move 3 or 4 or 5 positions. I mean, not 5, but three positions for sure. I thought he played good third base when he started too, and then he got over to first base, and I was like, you know what? I don't know what the defensive metrics say, but you've always said that you have to have a pretty extended period of time before you start using defensive metrics to actually have some reliability to them. I thought he's looked great at first base, and obviously Vado's Vado, and he's going to have to play first base, but We're just in a weird spot right now, if we're being completely frank. I don't know how else to say it. We got a legend playing first base. You got a guy that's been one of the only consistent and solid players in this franchise the last few years, in Jonathan India playing second base. And you have some young guys that you could argue would be better fits at those positions on a daily basis, but what are you going to do? You know, I mean, this team just won 12 in a row. There's only so much you can do. You kind of got to you got to kind of make sure that I don't know. You got to make sure that you don't mess with the vibes too much by just saying, you know what, we're going to start making some roster moves or roster decisions. And until then, I don't know what this Nick Krall has up his sleeve, but he's going to have to come up with something, because at the end of the day, Senzel, Newman, Fairchild, CES at some point. I'm not going to say I know all the answers, but I'm just saying that there's decisions that have to be made.
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I know everyone's like, get a pitching right now, but I would question anyone. How many trades are going on in baseball right now? Like, right. I don't even remember seeing a trade of any significance anytime soon. Like, teams just aren't going to be looking to move anyone. Outside of, like I mentioned yesterday, maybe you could, look at getting someone you're getting on a salary dump earlier rather than later. That's maybe the one exception. But if you're looking for a quality starting pitcher, it's going to be almost next to impossible without significantly overpaying to get them now. And we don't want the Reds to be overpaying. At least I don't. So yeah, I mean, it's a weird situation for the Reds. It's almost going to kind of be, at least for a little while here, kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's pretty easy and obvious if you're Nick Krall to see the holes, but at the same time, somehow these guys just keep winning every night, and you're kind of like, stuck in between. What do you do here? But yeah, I mean, the Reds, they need Graham Ashcraft to be better. They need Luke Weaver to get better. I just don't think there's any better options right now in the Reds system. Other than guys pitching right now in Double-A at this very second. But again, that's not really been the Reds' MO, is to rush their pitchers. I know the Braves do. They're like the only team that does. I don't know if you want the Reds to start doing things that they're not doing, like just to do something. I think you have to stick with what's kind of got you into the spot from 3-22 to a 12-game win streak.
You know what this reminds me of a little bit? It reminds me of any team that lacks depth in one certain area, and then not only do they lack depth in that area, but then on top of that, they have injuries that go along with that area, and then they're just in a world of hurt. That's what's happened with the starting pitching. So we'll see where it goes, where it takes us, but I think, in my opinion, you just keep riding this wave and seeing how long you can ride it until you have a major issue, which probably isn't the answer most Reds fans would like to hear, but I don't know what else there is to be made decisions of. Will Benson looks like he's a guy that should be playing on any time there's a right-handed pitcher. Stuart Fairchild, for my money, should have never been called down over Nick Senzel, just because Nick Senzel, yeah, you can give me his splits and say whatever, he's the best guy at hitting left-handed pitching in the world. I don't know if I believe that. I think sometimes splits can be a little deceiving over a short sample size. And again, I don't know, Nick. Maybe I should have pulled this up for the show, but I'll look it up as we get through the show. But I'm curious to see how many even at bats we're talking about here, and then what the difference is, what the delta is between how well Fairchild hits against lefties and how much Senzel hits against lefties. Because outside of that, and I'm willing to listen and be told I'm wrong, but outside of just saying that Senzel hits lefties better, Stuart Fairchild is better in every other category that we need him to be in. And don't tell me that don't tell me that Nick Senzel can play infield and that's why you wanted to have him, because we don't have anyone. We don't need infielders.
We don't need infielders, but if you're talking about guys that are going to be in platoon roles in late in game, it gives you more flexibility, so you can pinch hit. I know I saw on Twitter, everyone's like, pinch hit this guy here, pinch hit this guy here. And I'm like, you've already used up all your pinch hitters in the last 5 times you wanted to use them. Like, you only have so many. So Nick Senzel does give you a little bit more flexibility in that regard. I want to ask you, I'm curious your thoughts on this. Because again, I've been leading the Stuart Fairchild charge for a long time here. That I think he's a decent player. I think that Stuart Fairchild is a guy that I think there's a higher ceiling than a guy like Nick Senzel. And I almost kind of like the idea of getting him every day at bats more so than Nick Senzel. I feel like Nick Senzel, we kind of know I think his ceiling at this is like a really good 10th player on a roster where he's a platoon guy, a guy that plays multiple positions. Stuart Fairchild, I think there's potentially, now again, I'm talking 100th percentile, but I think there's a potential of him breaking out and actually maybe being a everyday outfielder in the future. So I think that also might kind of get weighed into some of this. And again, you're only talking about a couple games starting here and there at the big league. It's not like you're talking about a big giant role.
Yeah, no doubt. I agree. I agree with the sentiment that you have. I think that the Fairchild brings more to the table, period. Anon76, my man, I know Fireball is not in the cards today. He said, streaks are meant to end and new streaks are intended to begin. I believe the Reds are building something special. You guys are just fun to watch, and I plan on watching the success of this show. Thank you, Anon. It's very much appreciated, and thank you for the super chat. I don't want to overreact today because I think that a couple of the plays were a little bit difficult for Senzel. But here's where I have a huge asterisk to this. We can't sit on this show, and our fan base can't sit around and clamor and cheer for the idea that we're aggressive and we like base running and we're going to make the right play and we're always going to be aggressive. And 2 times the day, 2 different times, Nick Senzel had an opportunity to try to make the aggressive play or make, this is strong, I don't mean it this way, the cowardly play, which is stick your tail between your legs, look, try to figure out what's going on forever, and then all of a sudden the play's already happened. That's not what good base running is. You make a decision, you live with it. You go. Okay? I get the idea that it's not a super easy decision, and that the masses of people that watch baseball think that these decisions are probably very, very difficult. I'm not suggesting that the play in right field was super easy, Nick, but there's a difference between Spencer Steer's trap in left field and the ball that happened right in front of your face in right field. If you're on first base and you're looking out into left field, like a ball that's hitting to left field and it's as close as that Steer play is, I would never, ever get on a player for that. It's next to impossible to know if he caught it or didn't catch it. But when the ball's right in front of you, Nick, that ball was probably every bit of 80 feet in front of him in right field, and the sun was to his back. So the sun was piercing right on Acuna. I'm not going to kill him for it, Nick, because I think that's probably too harsh. But we can't sit here and everybody cheer on the fact that we're this aggressive baseball team and not at least say that those 2 plays weren't disappointments that ultimately led to runs that didn't happen because of it. It's as simple as that.
I'm more the pass ball. I would like to see him be more aggressive on that. I mean, I think that's kind of where you really got to kind of jump into what this team's doing. The play with Acuna, I mean, that was just such a weird play. Not a play you see all that often. And he just kind of he thought that he caught it. I mean, he clearly, he was, and I think if he had made that initial lunge, like if he could have, who knows exactly what he's seeing there. I think if he had made that lunge, he would have made it to if he wouldn't have hesitated back, I think he would have made it. So I don't know, that play, man, when I first saw it, I was like, what the hell are you doing, Nick? And then I saw the replay and I was like, yeah, he was just in a really really tough spot.
Yeah, listen, I you have your opinion, I have mine. I don't think it was as tough as everyone is making out to be. The ball bounced, clear as hell. I mean, it was clear as day that the ball bounced. It wasn't even like a trap situation. The ball bounced. Now, you could argue that he didn't see it well. That's fine, and that's what happened. Let's be very clear. Nick Senzel, for whatever reason, maybe he was too worried about how far he was off the base. He took the eye off the ball for a second, looked back in right field. He didn't really get a good look at whether or not the ball bounced or not. So be it. At the end of it, I'm not going to kill Senzel. I get what you're saying. I think that's a reasonable take. I'm just saying that's what separates really good base runners from just average base runners. And if we're going to give credit to really good base runners, then I'm going to call out when I don't see really good base running. It's as simple as that. And it happened twice today. 2 times that both led to situations where they did not score a run because of it. And I again, to be clear, I understand why you could make the argument that both were tough.
It's almost kind of like Ashcraft and Weaver, like on their own, it's not bad, but when you add it on top of everything else, yeah, I'm with you on that. Trace, is it also possible that someone yelled something out to him? The third base coach maybe saw it different, saw it wrong, and it almost looked like I think you could make a case of the way his body movement was that someone yelled "get back" or something to him. That's also a possibility.
That's possible. The first base coach would be the one that would be yelling. I don't know. I mean, listen, the perfect play there, and again, everyone's going to say, oh, that's easy for Trace to say hindsight. Okay, I understand. The easy play in that situation, or the right play, whatever term you want to use, is you get off far enough to where you think you're going to get the second for sure. Because when you're in that position, it's a lot easier to run back to your right than it is to run to your left, and you're staring out in right field. If he catches the ball and he doubles you off at first base, in my opinion, I'd rather live with that, knowing that the ball got caught and that's a double play that way, than to have a situation where the ball drops and you don't get the second base. But we've won 12 games in a row. We're not going to sit here and act like that is the end of the world. I just felt like it was a fair point to say that those plays matter, and we're going to bring them up. Fernando Cruz is on the rundown. I think there's one more guy that I'd like to bring up, too, outside of Fernando. But your overall thoughts? He threw 2 innings today. Didn't give up a run.
Yeah, he's pitching really well, since he's come back up. I liked what I've saw out of him. And Trace, I couldn't help but think about kind of watching Fernando Cruz and a lot of the roles that the Reds have put him in. It seems like he would be a perfect candidate to be an opener with Luke Weaver and with Graham Ashcraft. And maybe someone else, maybe Brandon Williamson too. I don't know. Could you have him go every other day with those 3?
Maybe. I mean, we're asking a lot out of this bullpen, aren't we?
Well, but I mean, you're hoping though that Graham Ashcraft, instead of pitching innings 1 through 5, is pitching 2 through 6. It's not really changing anything.
I think Luke Weaver could be that guy. I don't know about Ashcraft, but I think Luke Weaver could use an opener, because it does feel like when I watch Weaver throw, it does feel like there's a lot of nerves. There's some nervous energy there for him, and he doesn't throw the ball that well, and he gives up some runs early, and then he settles down. And you can say whatever you want about Luke, but he gets himself through 3 or 4 or 5 innings. It never snowballs too bad. But I'm going to tell you who I like that continues to throw the ball well is Duarte. I just do. I do. Kill me for it when he gives up some runs later. But his stuff looks good to me, man. Stuff looks good to me.
Yeah, and our guy Mitch, Reds in 4, really liked him from some of the Stuff Plus numbers down at AAA. So yeah, this bullpen's been great. Another great day from the bullpen. I mean, even Alex Young, that home run that he gave up, that was a pretty tough home run. I mean, overall,
it was a joke. It was a trash home run.
I mean, this is just another day these guys cover 5 innings of 1-run baseball. Like, I don't know what more can you ask out of them?
Nothing. You can't ask for much more. Bullpen is who they've been solid for the most part all year. I don't want to say all year, because the first 2 weeks, like I said, everybody wanted to act like that was the only reason this team wasn't going to be able to win, and turns out it's been starting pitching. But again, this team fought. They got a chance to win the series tomorrow against the Braves, which, again, I'm going to tell you right now, I think the Braves are the best team in baseball that I've seen so far. And they're just a solid team, man. Just incredibly good. We'll see. Got Morton on the mound, I think, tomorrow. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But, yeah, I said we needed to win 1 game, Nick. And last night felt like, in a little bit of a way, a must-win, because you were worried about the back end of what the starting pitching looked like for us. And you think to yourself, man, if we don't win tonight, which was last night, then maybe like I said before, the wheels start to fall off, and at least it feels that way. We got a long way to go before the wheels are off, boys. A long way to go. I don't want to make this sound like we're some overreactionary show. We like to be realistic. We like to be pretty based in our opinions. I'd like to think to myself that Nick Krall is going to figure this roster situation out. But there's some tough decisions that have to be made. Whether that means you got to play guys in different defensive positions, whether that means you got to tell guys they're probably not going to get as many at-bats as you used to get, and or you're going to have to tell somebody that they have to go. The 3-catcher situation, the DH situation, those are some really hard decisions that are going to have to be made.
Yeah, I mean, if this lineup's been what's kept this team afloat of late. I mean, I saw a tweet from Joe Lucca. 4 straight games the Reds have allowed 3 home runs, and they went 3-1 in those games.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not a very good recipe for long-term success. So, but you get Christian Encarnacion strand up here. Maybe just mash your way to 85 wins.
Yeah,
with a patch together rotation that you hope that you can get Hunter Green back soon. You hope that Ashcraft can figure out at least to be somewhat close to a league average pitcher, and you get Lodolo back at the end of the year, and maybe that's enough.
Yep. Joe Luckup put out to add to your point really quickly. Joe Luckup put a tweet out that said the Reds have allowed 3+ home runs in 4 consecutive games for the first time since at least 1901, probably ever.
That win streak, man, like just some of the things that happened in that, like just nutty. So many things like just about the Reds right now just do not make sense to me. Yeah. And my brain's like trying to catch up. There's like so many service errors up here. Like,
yeah. All right. Anything else that you want to add on today's show? As a reminder, I do want to do some quick housekeeping items for the chat. Tomorrow, I am going to go down to the game with my family. That means that I will not be on the show, but as always, we will be back here regardless. Nick will hold the fort down. He has a special guest that he can tell you about here in a little bit later. But the truth is that we are here after each and every game. So maybe there's a small chance where I pop in brass band festival style if things go crazy down there at Great American from my seats, but we'll see how it all goes, Nick. But overall, parting thoughts on today's game, and then obviously there's more baseball to be played and some Reds MILB, of course.
Well, Reds MILB is all in action right now. Daytona's up 4-2. Louisville's down 4-2. Dayton is scoreless. And then Chattanooga's up 2-1. Trying to figure out, Connor Phillips started the game. He only got 2 outs, I believe, and he got pulled from the game. Walked 3 batters, so 33 pitches. So I haven't seen anyone saying what that was about. So I'll try to find that out, and that'll be in the podcast when I kind of run through the Reds minor league stuff. But tomorrow, we also don't know who's pitching for the Reds. Sorry. Learning this new stuff. Where am I at?
It's all right.
There we go. We're down at the bottom. All right, yeah, so TBD, the Reds still haven't announced a starter yet for tomorrow, so fascinated to see. I think Randy Wynn is probably the most likely guy that pitched decent. He has like an ERA in the low 3s since May 1st. Doesn't really walk anyone, but doesn't strike anyone out. I guess he's the best option, but we'll wait and see. Hopefully when I find out, hopefully I'll find out before I go to bed tonight, and I can put it in the podcast for tomorrow for you. But I'll tell you a little bit about Charlie Morton. I got some notes on him. Morton, now in his 16th major league season. He'll turn 40 in November. 6 most starts among active pitchers. 1-3 with a 4.96 ERA. 18 walks, though, in his last 6 starts. Career 4.10 ERA in 20 starts against the Reds. Only 2 starts, though, since 2016. So he has not faced the Reds a whole lot since he did a ton back when he was with the Pirates. Joey Votto, 11 for 37. 37 at-bats against Charlie Morton. Could this be their final matchup ever against each other? Kind of interesting to watch. One interesting thing about Charlie Morton, when I saw this, I remember Charlie Morton started a game, and I don't know if you remember this, Trace. September 11th, 2010. It was Joey Votto's first career walk-off home run. Charlie Morton actually started that game for the Cincinnati Reds. So, and here those guys will face each other in 2023.
Yeah, for those that are wondering, I think there was a few. Steve in the chat, Ben Lively had a pectoral muscle. I don't know what the actual term that they use, but he had a injury that he had, so he's not able to throw tomorrow. So they are in a scramble mode is what we'll call it. I think they already have a plan, if we're being completely frank. They're just going to wait to tell everybody what that plan is. Connor Phillips' name got brought up just as kind of a Twitter type situation. He was supposed to throw. Was he supposed to throw today or tomorrow?
He started tonight for Chattanooga.
Okay, so he actually threw.
He actually threw, but Tracy only got 2 batters out. He walked 3 batters today. Through 33 pitches. I don't know why he left the game. I'm trying to find that out right now, but not having any luck.
So he's either hurt and or perhaps tomorrow they're going to go Johnny Holstaff.
Yeah, I could see them calling up a guy from Louisville or maybe they don't even call up a guy from Louisville. I mean they use Cruz, Young, Duarte, and Bracco. So I mean I don't know who's left on the roster here. What do we got? We have a fresh Farmer, Jabot, Sims. And it's not that much. They're gonna have someone. They're gonna have to bring someone up to give them at least like 3 innings, right?
Yeah, they're gonna have to bring somebody up. That's what I was saying. They're not gonna bring Phillips up though, right? I mean, even though they took him out early, they bring him up there tomorrow and just say, "Hey, we want you to throw 2 innings and just see how it goes." And I don't know. I mean, that would be a wild move. That seems like that seems like impossible. The more I think about it,
I think it's just. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. The more it has to be a coincidence. Hopefully, the guy didn't get hurt.
That's what I'm worried about more. Yeah,
I can't imagine he just walks 3 guys and they're like, yeah, you know what? Hey, we're gonna take him out of the game, not let him work through it. But also, I don't know how many he threw. So he threw 33 pitches, Trace, in the first inning, and it's coming to me. We've won so many games, my brain's still frazzled. I remember David Bell recently talking about Luke Weaver on one of the pregame shows. And Luke Weaver had one of those innings where David Bell has, I think he said 45 pitches is like his hard cutoff. He won't let a pitcher go more than that. And he actually said that was kind of interesting. I wonder if Connor Phillips in that first inning, maybe they say 35 pitches is we're not going to let you throw more than that because we think that's going to be too much wear and tear on this young man's arm.
Understood.
And it's nothing more than that. He just had a bad first inning. They said, call it a night. We'll let you. This is, in the minor leagues, and there's been a lot of guys that we've seen on rehab starts. They'll go throw 4 innings. They'll say, hey, we don't want to bring this guy back out for a 5th because we only want 10 more pitches. We'll have him go throw 10 more pitches in the cages. That could have been what happened with Phillips tonight. That's the
best answer that I think you got. That's the I put that in the 90th percentile in regards to the chances of what it actually was. All right. Listen, we knew this run was going to be over at some point, guys. What a run it was. My superstitious self has a opener to this show that I've been working on for a little while that I was not going to use until this whole thing resolved itself. So hopefully on Monday, there will be a new show opener. We'll have some fun with that. You'll come back in droves tomorrow because the Reds are going to win, take the series from Atlanta. We're going to keep it moving. Nick, for those that aren't scoreboard watching, I believe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the Brewers and the Pirates both lost. The Cubs, unfortunately, keep winning. But outside of that, we hold our ground within the Central. Cubs get a little bit closer.
Yep. Reds still got a 1.5 lead in the Central, so good stuff there. Reds 3 games ahead of the Cubs. Cubs, man, they're 9-1 in their last 10. Pirates lose again. Pirates now 6 games under 500. You hate to see that. 5.5 behind the Reds, and the Cardinals 9.5 back. And tomorrow, our good pal Clay Snowden will be on with us tomorrow. So look forward to having Clay on. Haven't talked to Clay in a minute. So yeah, we'll have a good time, and I'm gonna get back in the win column. I got a good feeling. Trey.
That we will. Alex, thank you for the super chat. He says, ready for the next streak. Would it be crazy to trade Stevenson and we keep Maile and Casali? Far better potential trade return and defensive upgrades. Yeah, Alex, we've talked about that. I don't know. It's hard to say, man. I feel like it's one of those things where we could play a million different avenues of what this team could do with certain pieces. If you want to get into it, I think there's only a select few people that are untouchable on this team to trade, and those are McLean, Steer, De La Cruz.
That might be it for me. I mean,
I think that might be it. I mean, listen, India's tradable. Votto, they're not going to trade because I don't think there's really any return that they're going to get from Votto. And then from there, Stevenson could be traded. Barrero could be traded. Senzel certainly could be traded. Newman can be traded. There's plenty of guys that can be traded. The question is what do you get in return for them? That's the biggest piece of this. Yeah, well, I'm willing to trade Stevenson, but what do I get back for him? If I get back if I get back just a bag of baseballs, then of course not, right? Like we got to figure out. As a fan base, we just have to trust Nick Krall. He's put us in this position. He's gotten us the ability to start to believe again. He has been the reason behind most of these decision makings. When you go out and you get you get Spencer Steer and you get CES in a trade with Malley, we get some guys back in return for for Winker and Suarez and obviously Sonny Gray. We got a lot of different pieces, and obviously Castillo. We got a lot of different pieces that we've gotten back, Nick. We haven't got to see the fruit of all of those yet, clearly. But I would say, if anything, Nick Krall has deserved our trust, right? He's deserved our trust.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'd trade Tyler Stevenson maybe for in a package that got back Dylan Cease, a pitcher with multiple years of control. Sure, absolutely. But my gut tells me that the return for Tyler Stevenson is not going to be enough to warrant his potential still that's with the Reds. That's what my gut says, but I don't know. It's hard to know what other teams are offering. So if you ever want to send me like, would you do this for this? I can evaluate that, but would I trade a guy? I'm willing, but I got to know what I'm getting back before I can really give you any sort of educated answer on it.
We all know we have holes right now. Listen, I mean, every fan that watches this team is frustrated by the starting pitching. We're all there with you. We all want to fix it. I hate to say this again. It is the single most difficult position group, in my opinion, to get something for in a trade. It just is. Everybody needs starting pitching. Everyone needs starting pitching. So it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy.
Look what the Reds got for starting pitching last year.
Yep. Colton, you just missed it. If you go back on the YouTube, you'll see who's starting pitching for tomorrow. Morton's pitching for the Braves, and then we aren't sure who's pitching for us because Ben Lively has a pectoral muscle issue. Not sure what happened with him, but who knows? We'll see. Nick, let's run some promos. There's not a dunk tonight, unfortunately. No cage pillows. Those come out for special occasions. But you know what? We're still in first place. Let's not forget that.
Cage needed a day off. Let's be real. He's happy. Cage was exhausted.
He was. All right, off the bench as usual. If you want to watch that show, it will not be on tomorrow, so don't worry about watching it for tomorrow. But it will be on Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till noon. But as always, listen, I'm going to tell you something. This is the most important thing I'm going to tell you tonight. We have a podcast that is doing incredible right now. It is called Chatterbox Reds on all the podcast platforms. If you watch this show, okay, and you only watch on YouTube, I get it. There's probably not a reason to go download the podcast. But as a favor to us, we are probably knocking down the doors of the top 10. I know we're knocking down the doors of the top 10. There's a small chance that we can get into the top 5. There's a small chance. Let's just give it a run for our money. So, you know what? I'm not saying you got to listen to the whole thing because you've already listened to most of it. But do us a favor. Go download it, rate it, give it a review. But that's coming tomorrow. And as a reminder, I will not be here tomorrow. I'm going to go down to Great American Ballpark and root on the Cincinnati Reds. We do this show every single day. And I always want to say, as a reminder to myself and definitely to you, that we appreciate you watching this show. The fact of the matter is that there's this many people that watch after games is absolutely astonishing and it's ridiculous. And we all can mourn together after losses, and we can have a hell of a lot of fun, as you know, after some wins. There's going to be more wins coming. Don't let tonight or today be a deterrent of your belief in that. I can promise you that this team, if they've shown nothing else, it's that they fight, they scratch, they claw, they do whatever the hell they can to try to win baseball games for us, and that's a hell of a time watching them. So as always, thank you for watching this show. We love you. We appreciate you. And as always, Go Reds.